Yeah, who is this, dog? Like, yeah, I'll give you like I guess a play-by-play of how I know him. From way in the past, he started like doing almost like Haitian news on YouTube. Probably one of the first people to really kind of make it more like Trevor Noah style. Like you're getting information, you're getting some fun out of it, but you're getting some real good content. I think that's where you pivoted from. He's actually an engineer by trade, but ultimately he founded he has multiple talents. He's one of those people that kind of like dives into different things. And one of the things he dived into was comedy. So he's been big on the Haitian comedy tours and really developing his own craft as going even beyond the Haitian kind of sphere of comedy, but going to actually comedy zones, like comedy like shows, developing that craft, and he's enjoying it. At the same time, he's also like a real estate rental person now. He's getting to that game. He's also like, this guy's young and he's doing it. Like, in other words, he's doing all of it. Like, all of it.
I appreciate it, man. That was a very good segue. I appreciate that, bro. Because
yeah, it's a good concise. I pay attention. That's what I do. I give a damn about people.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
How do you pronounce your name?
Alainta.
Yeah, Alainta in short, she's a hood rat chick from the north.
Yeah, no,
like kind of nowhere.
She wouldn't have been here. She wouldn't have been here.
What the hell? Like you start off with the hood rat? Yeah, Alainta.
How did y'all meet? How? What's the connection here?
I would say this: the first time I actually met Alainta, it was actually at a compa party. When I showed up to a compa party, it was with my girlfriend at the time, and we're chilling. And some other guy that I know was like, "Yo, man, you gotta see this chick that I'm dancing with," and he kind of took off. He went back, kind of like the guys kind of do the banter on the side and go like, I gotta go. So he's dancing with this girl, and Atlanta out here, put it on him, doing all the work.
By Queen.
You don't know what's gonna go down after this. I'm like. Like, hey, when you're a taken man, you just do the.
Yeah. Was this in Miami or?
It was in Tallahassee. We met in Tallahassee. He was attending FSU. I was attending FAMU.
Oh,
unfortunately,
those little HCC parties.
Yeah. I think it was an HCC party, if I'm not
mistaken. It was one of those like parties out there, and it was cool. Everybody was vibing, and then one day, like another random occasion, she popped up at my crib, like because she knew like somebody.
I know Betty.
Like that knew Betty, and Betty was at the crib. My girlfriend was at the crib at the time. It was weird. You're like, what the hell? This person come back around again.
I'll be around.
and then all my other homeboys trying to holler at her. That was like a whole other side plot. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we were always around the same place.
Okay.
Yo, these car dealerships do not give up.
Yeah. Then you end up like going overseas, teaching English in South Asia, out here living that dream, and coming back and realizing that, hey, financial literacy might be the it, man. Like it might be what we need. Yeah. And then she ended up kind of like one of the few people that actually listened to my advice and actually took it and ended up seeing her net worth grow and buying a home, all that good stuff. So now we actually co-host a podcast called the Financial Griot. We just talk about our stories with another co-host that we have here, Lovely.
Miss Lovely.
Too rich for, she's going to be the next Oprah or the next Lovely, one or the other.
The next Lovely.
I hope it's the next Lovely. I don't want to be Oprah. Lovely Merdelus.
Do you want to be the Black Oprah?
Nah, I don't want to be
the Black Oprah out here, city girl.
You want to be the Black Oprah, yeah. But it's so nice to meet everyone. Paul, Ashley, I see an Ashley on the bottom. So
I'm gonna let Paul rock out for a bit. I think Paul, you need to kind of tell them who you are more, or
Paul, who are you?
Like what you're working on now, because you always been working on something.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley.
First of all, how old are you?
Damn, you 31. Gotta be like that, like ageism.
Yeah, that's it. I'm 31.
Hello.
So by myself, I was born here. I was born in Jacksonville, which I know freaks everybody out. They're like, "What? There's Haitians in Jacksonville?" Yeah,
I was just gonna say that. That Haitians in Jacksonville. My best friend lives there.
Yeah. Born in Jacksonville. That is really odd, though.
Born in Jacksonville, and then my parents sent me to Haiti when I was 7, and it was supposed to be like a little short trip. I ended up staying there for 7 years.
Oh wow!
So I kind of like ended up being in Haiti for real for a long time, and then I came back to the States And when I came back, it was a bit of a culture shock for me in terms of just kind of like, you know, when I went to Haiti, I didn't really get in touch with the culture, but I didn't realize how Haitian I became, like just being there for so long. Mm-hmm. And just kind of like, you know, I kind of had like a kind of weird experience. My parents moved back. So I was kind of like here trying to getting it out the mud, like from the time I was like 14, getting into college and trying to figure all that out by myself. I had like aunties and uncles around, but you guys know how that kind of is. So I always kind of had this mindset where it was like, I gotta get it some way. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta get it out like some way. And I kind of felt like as Haitians, like we gotta figure out how to win in America. And like when I stepped into comedy, it was really because I felt like, you know, a lot of the serious topics that we need to address as a people, people don't want to hear this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Truthfully, nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to accept it. So really, like for me, comedy has always just been a method for me to communicate something more serious that I want people to like pay attention to. So, and that's kind of where I stepped into, like, I always kind of felt like, okay, well, Haitian Americans always had this passion about changing Haiti, blah, blah, blah. So I was deep diving into that with the politics stuff and using comedy to kind of communicate that. But just through my time, I got what I needed out of it. And I kind of learned that, like, yes, Haitian politics is good. Yes, this is important, but Haitians in the States are not okay either. You know, like for us to even be in a position to help Haiti, we got to learn how to win here. Like we got to get our money up. We got to learn how to financially understand the systems that exist here. And that's kind of been my journey, like since then. So like I listen to podcasters like you guys. I follow, you know, and I'm always in the DMs like, yo, what does this mean? What does this post mean? Tell me about this. So like, I just kind of like try to absorb wisdom, and then I try to like utilize it for myself, and then see, okay, how can I package this and help package it to get other people to just listen a little bit, you know? And that's just kind of been my journey. So like right now, like I'm an engineer. I work for Johnson & Johnson. I've been there for some time. I have a couple businesses that I own and operate. Like I have a barbershop. I have an online business as well. And then I have a rental Airbnb property as well. But yeah, just trying to figure it out, man. I'm not the most savvy guy when it comes to finance, so I'm here to learn from you guys. Yeah, and I love what you guys are doing. So to say that.
Yeah, he has a lot of people following him. You know, unlike us, we got like maybe 2,000 people or something, or maybe even 500, maybe even five.
5,000, bro.
Maybe 5 people just following the game. You're like, hey.
5,000. No, man. No, it's so crazy because I met you when I first started, because in Lineal Street stuff, right? Like that.
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were one of the first people that I actually like met, you know? So I don't know, just to see all this journey and just kind of like this whole time over the years, and just to see, man, like truthfully, I'll say this, even those 5,000, it's like, that's 5,000 people that you're really impacting, you know?
Yeah.
And
I'm like, you know, hey, the other people, I'm on that Kanye West tip. If it's gonna be poor, they're gonna be poor, man. That's that choice. So I can't help everybody all the time. So even in this recording where I thought, well, I never think that a lot of people are going to show up. That's the first thing. And I'm gonna redress that statement. I actually put it out because it's like a social experiment for me. People always say that they want financial literacy, they want this information, they want it at all costs. But when push comes to shove, they always disappear. Yeah, there's always something else that's more important. Somebody says, oh, I'm a 7-day Adventist. I'm like, but I did see a few events on Saturdays, though. I did see you at a few events on Saturdays. Or I got this other thing going on, but it's always something else. And I always find it very peculiar, because as I'm realizing it, is that I don't think people really want to change. I think people are it's socially acceptable to say that you want to change, but you don't, it's also socially acceptable to not change at all. It's the weirdest thing ever. I'm just watching people, and this has happened not just in our lifetime, but for millennia. Like if this world could have been a utopia, it would have definitely been a utopia a long time ago. but nobody wants it to be a utopia. Everybody just wants to be on top. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What is the format of this? I don't want to keep interjecting.
Oh, no. It's fine. Like we only have a few people here. It's like, it's damn near the Financial Griot.
It's very personal.
Sorry, this is so dark. Hold on.
Ashley out here, had to put on the hair wrap, hey, gotta lace it up.
I didn't know this was gonna be I thought I would just listen to everybody, but
no, it's cool. I'm gonna definitely share. I'm still gonna share what I have for sure. But in this conversation, just like the Financial Griot podcast is, we love to have real people interacting and maybe exchanging some, like back in the day, getting to the laku, finding out who people are, what they up to, what's really negging you about this stuff, what's really kind of like, what do you really want to know? Versus than just me kind of spitting everything I know and just running it through, which I will. But what's up with you guys? Who are you? Like, we got Lovely up here. She ain't talking, but she making money. She just met Obama the other day. And she said, screw you guys. She was like, instead of hanging with us lowly folks, she said, you know what, I'm gonna go hang out with Obama and Viola Davis. It's all good.
Someone mentioned that too on the previous episode when we mentioned about FinCon and if Lovely's going to inbound. Those like, I don't know why that's even a discussion. She knows Lovely will attend inbound to meet Obama. I love you, Lovely, but we knew.
We knew you ain't coming. When your homegirl says, hey, why should I come to FinCon in Orlando? Please let me know. Then we look at what she the lineup that she had on her side. In Boston, you got Obama, you got Viola. But even by Obama, it's like, that's the end of that conversation. If you're gonna go hang out with Obama, like, what the hell?
Yeah. But nonetheless, you were with us in spirit. So
that's a lie. That's just garbage that people say. That's not true.
Wow.
No, people actually mention you. They
people ask. Hey,
they're like, don't you visit 3 of you?
I was there in spirit and love.
In love.
Oh, it was a shame for us. Like, it was like, no, she's not here.
It was
like
not
that.
a shame.
It's like that person that becomes important. That person that becomes important in the group and goes on a solo tour. She's that person.
No, it's not me. Different adventures.
No.
So
I'm
Ashley,
down for the cause.
Wait, Ashley, what's up with you? Because before we get to all of this, we have no idea who you are. We're just kind of riding out. Are you even Haitian?
Okay, I'll give you my spiel. So, I'm not Haitian. I actually friended you eons ago because I went to the Haitian National Conference in Miami when I was like in college. I don't know if you remember this.
I remember those conferences back in the day.
Yeah, and so I have like my mom's good friend, like my uncle who's Haitian, and I've been to Haiti a few times. So I friended you, and then it's one of those things where you have all these Facebook friends. You're like, I don't know who these people are, but you kept posting about like your finance stuff, so you kept coming up on my feed, so I followed you. So I'm in the point where I say my finances. I'm one of those like I just got money and I'm realizing that when I say that, I mean, I'm realizing that it's one of those things where you see an increase in your income and you're like, oh, I should be able to like do all these things. And now I'm realizing like, actually, I'm not doing those things, which means I'm not being as strict and as dedicated with my money as I should be. And so I'm really trying to go back and like get myself in check. And so that's why I'm being much more like, okay, let me go back and actually stick to my budget. Let me make a real budget. Like, let me get on top of everything. And so I've been doing investing, all of these type of things. So I have a lot of things going on, but I think I just need to be more organized and disciplined with how I approach things. And I know that I'll see a lot better return and growth from it. So that's where I'm at.
Also, I love to see Black women just taking control of their finances. So that's amazing.
Yeah, she was
so
day
kudos
trading
to
out
you.
here. She was day trading. Let's be real. She was day trading.
I wasn't day trading.
She was like,
I did options, but I didn't do day trading. I was doing like leaps and like 3-month type things, but I wasn't doing day trading.
Yeah, 2021 was wild though. Everybody
Where are
was
you
doing
located?
everything.
Where are you
I'm
located,
in New York.
Ashley? Okay.
I'm in New York.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where in New York?
Right now, sorry?
What do you do? What's your profession?
Right now I'm in finance. Yeah. And then so I live in Long Island City, which is in Queens, if you guys don't know. So I do not live in Long Island.
Suburbs.
Yeah, no, I don't live. I live like 15 minutes outside Manhattan in Long Island City, Queens. Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Awesome.
A lot of people get confused, but yes. And I grew up in Jersey, like right outside of New York. So yeah, it's the same area.
Cool. I like y'all read it because I think that's a Celsius in the back.
Sorry?
Is that a can of Celsius?
No, this is Alani New. Do you know this brand?
Oh no, I thought it was Celsius.
Oh yeah, it looked like a Celsius.
It looks like a Celsius. I'm like, girl, like you already.
Paul is like, I don't know what the Celsius is. It's like,
it's an energy. It's an energy drink. It's
okay. This is also an energy drink, but it's like a woman's, like they're like have good flavors. Like this is like mimosa. So
what's it called?
Alani New.
Can you spell it?
I think they do pre-workouts. They do pre-workouts.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And they have
ALAI?
ALANI. Yeah, and so they're in Target, GNC, I mean all those places. But yeah, they have really good like women flavors. So.
That's such marketing.
Popping, I ain't gonna lie, the flavors be popping on the
yeah, they're good, right?
The pre-workout is not bad.
I'll try it.
Yeah, it's really good.
On that.
Like, no, the flavors are on
like, all right, okay, tropical punch. All right, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know about it?
Yeah, like I don't know the pre-workout thing. I didn't know they actually make just like a drink version.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was looking to trying something new outside from Celsius. I'm such a Celsius drinker.
Well, I've never had Celsius.
Paul, if you haven't noticed, Black women are always on the forefront of spending money the fastest. Like they know about all the new brands.
But I think no, don't start. Don't start. Do not start.
I only know about that.
We spend money on things that we really value, and like Celsius is an energy drink that me and Lovely really like because we work out.
We love it.
We love Celsius.
Also, I know about these because I'm very into working out and weightlifting, all that type of thing. And so I got into pre-workout, but then I tried to get off that. And so now just once in a while, I'll do a drink. But
I don't think
we take care of ourselves.
I don't think it's a problem. So let me ask this question more, or to that point that you just said, is it not true that women are like the folks that kind of drive in the commercial space, like buying and selling and stuff, like or
they do
purchasing, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not I don't think it's a offensive like statement. It should probably
no. This is our banter, and LG is always on brand.
After Lawrence long enough, I know that he says wild things.
He says wild things. We're used to it at this point.
It's not offensive to say. I'm like,
no. He said it all the time. Like it's whatever. But women, specifically Black women, we do drive consumerism. We do drive marketing when it comes to things. We wear long braids, and 3 months later, everybody else wearing long butt booty braids, right? So it's like it's what we are. We're the center of culture, center of spending habits, everything. So, but it's up to us to kind of see where we value, where we spend our money on. Should be very important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. One thing I was gonna say too, backtrack when there's two comments that were made here that was just like, man, I really need to get what you learned. I've been thinking about this for a minute, but so one of the things I'm working on right now is around just kind of like these kind of small space conversations and the problem with social media, right? Like what you just mentioned earlier, Ashley, like, oh yeah, I've known you for a while, but we're not really friends. And, we don't really have been kind of like just like this glass of seeing shit, and you just kind of like watching people, but there's no real conversations happening. Or even what you were saying, LG, when you're talking about like, well, people say they want this kind of, information, but they don't really actually execute on it. Like that's a gap. That's a big problem. Like with social media. And that's kind of why I've been pulling back from it for a while, is because like you have all these access to all these people, but you don't. It's not real. Right. And
it's a choice. And I feel like I have stopped over the years of being a monitor for all this. It's like, I'm not going to continue trying. It's like, the information is out there, the research are out there, the people like-minded people out there. We just came back from FinCon, amazing opportunity, amazing experience of people who are like-minded and want to know personal finance, including Haitian Americans. So it's out there. It's a simple choice. Today's Saturday, almost noon. If you want to be here, you're here. If you don't, you're not.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to say that though. Like I know what you're saying, and I've been there, and I've said this too, but it's kind of not. It's kind of like, imagine when you say like, you know, when like somebody's under a spell, it's not really a choice. It's, you know, it is a choice. Like when you think about like the Kanye verse, right? When you talk, Kanye said this, slavery is a choice, and everybody was like freaking out about that. And he's right, it is a choice. But what I'm getting at is the playing field should change as well. Like these kind of settings where like if you create opportunity for people to not be bogged down by everything on social media, and you kind of make it intimate and create the spaces just like you're doing right now, if more of these happen and attention is going in one direction, it's still a choice, but it's an easier choice. When you have,
are you saying that the marketing essentially drives us to be more entertainment? Because that's like the argument that we've always been having in our conversations.
Say it again.
Are we driving what is being marketed, or is the marketing driving our desires? Like essentially, which one is coming first? You know, like the whole chicken and egg. Is trash content being pushed on us, or do we desire trash content so it continues to be pushed on us? That's kind of like one of those, I gave it to you as raw as possible. I can literally be very blunt, but like, that's the question. It's like, is the content being driven to us, for example, based off of, hey, they want this to be out there instead to kind of like numb society? Or is it because our desire and our thirst for it is so strong that the algorithm continues to push a certain type of thing because we desire it anyways, and that's what keeps our eyes on it?
I agree. I think that's a really fair question. And I think that was my first question. I think what I'm challenging is the actual medium in which it's being delivered, like as a whole, right? Like in terms of how we
social, just the intimacy, like the type of way, like for example, this is great, but you have to still accept the invitation, right? Like, even though this is a great opportunity, great thing, you're probably going to come out of here and say, I learned 3 or 4 things. The question is, if I extend, like if Lawrence is posting, because I've seen it multiple times, like, hey, I get to 5,000, I'm going to do this tax planning. And I know that there's sometimes that he posts something because it's controversial or whatever. Like if he talks about renting a home, like there's like 20, 40 comments back and forth with him. But then he'll post something like this and he'll be like, oh yeah, kind of, yeah, okay, I'm going to show up maybe. And then it's like, well, there's no results. So the question I'm asking is like, I understand that this is important, but I find, because I really wanted to be I come from the tech world just similar to you, and I wanted to help a lot of businesses. We would offer things, we would show up, we would like put it excellent, but there is a thirst and desire that a lot of people just naturally, for whatever reason, don't want to break through to have. So sometimes I'm thinking like the energy that we're putting to do this is because we want to learn. We kind of come onto the podcast every week, but if the shade room is always going to outperform us, at the end of the day, it comes out to be like, okay, I want to see change. I want people to be transformed, but you gotta want it.
Yeah, but
like, can I say 2 things on that though?
Yes.
Right. Okay. 2 things. One is that, first of all, I think you need to maybe reconfigure the way you're thinking about your engagement, because a lot of times people think about engagement in one sort of way, like I have this tax thing and no one showed up, so people aren't engaged. Sometimes when it's online, you look at things, and there may be many people, if you like polled how many of your subscribers are actually have a budget and are actually implementing some things you do. Some people take the information, don't engage with you, and they just run off, right? So sometimes it can be hard with these type of settings to really see, okay, what is the impact I'm actually having if you're just measuring that impact in one way. And then second, I would say that I think with social media, I see a lot of, content creators who I follow who have very, very positive, like large followings of people who are engaged with them and people who are like-minded with them. But I think that's because they didn't go after the people, they let the people come to them. And I think sometimes the things you're saying, like, okay, we want to engage with people who listen to this. We want to get Shade Room followers to be financially literate. And that may not be, I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm saying sometimes it's just put out the content, keep going, and see who actually shows up, because that might be very different than the people who you wanted to reach, which may be unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes.
I think we're at the point in our careers that it's going to sound very bad if I say this, but I'm going to say it, cancel me or not. Like, we're at the point where whether you show up or not, it really doesn't matter to us, because we're at that exception point of like, well, we're on this trajectory. And whether or not you care, like, because at this point, like I told somebody that recently, like at this point of my life, if I live until like 60 something, I'm not about to spend what I did in my early 20s. It's like, no, guys, we gotta, like I tell my friend all the time, like I wanted to bring so much people up with me and then just realize y'all don't want to go. And so I'm not about to force you to go on to the journey. So that's what we're talking. Yeah, we're like, okay, well,
that's what I'm saying.
Fine. What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to get at is a step outside of that. So I think as a baseline from the topic that we're talking about right now, right? Financial literacy is fucking boring, bro. Like at the end of the day, sorry. Let me say this.
No. Speak candidly.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I want to understand the concept.
I like the way you're going with it. Let's go.
So it's boring because it's the needful things. It's not attractive and it doesn't appeal to our intrinsic nature to just consume, or not care about stuff. And it's not there. The same thing with fitness, right? You know, ideally, right, it sounds great, but when it's like, all right, wake up at 5, right? And go hit the gym. It's a different conversation. When we're talking about a lot of these types of topics, they don't appeal to people's carnal base rooted natures. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be an uphill fight in comparison to a Shade Room who I present drama and that's attractive. I can go on my social media platform and I like, even if I'm trying to make a point of something that's serious, I'll say something controversial intentionally to arouse people's emotions and then say what I need to say. And that's because I had to package it that way to get your attention. So in general, this is we cannot compare serious things with, the baseline caca that's out there. Caca's gonna win every. My point that I'm trying to make is the platform itself of social media, right? It's a reel, right? It's a reel of 15-second immediate gratification content. Is not, in my opinion, is not a good format for society as a whole, right? And that, what I'm getting at is this kind of setting right now that you guys have produced, right, with 5 people, is a lot more impactful, because what you can do is create a culture around it. Like you look at the Asian community, because of how their culture has been designed and because they encapsulate family, they can replicate themselves and their mindsets and these ideologies across the whole playing field without it being a mass, big jumbotron of content. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that for what you guys are doing, and it's crazy because I need to talk to you about this because I'm actually developing an app around this, is that it's the format I think is wrong. Social media as a quick reel situation. Like I'll just give you this last example. I was doing some study group sessions, some focus groups for my app I'm working on. And what I found is I have 26,000 followers or whatever. And my audience is pretty engaged with me. I put out a thing and say, hey guys, I'm doing this focus group. Please join. It's going to take 45 minutes of your time. And then I will text people individually that I know and that care about me. And I say, hey, I'm doing this focus group. I'd like some of your time. 26,000 people, 10 people, right? At my session, I get 12 people. All 10 of the ones that I asked came, right? 2 out of 26,000 came, right? If there's a value proposition becomes different at that point. And that's just kind of what I'm saying is and this is just kind of my take on the summary of 7+ years trying to trick people into taking things that they actually need seriously. Mm-hmm. It's like when it's more like, even this clip right here, if you take this clip and you post it, I guarantee you a lot more people will show up the next time, because mm-hmm. people long for community, because we don't have that. Social media is not built for actual community. Mm-hmm. We say it's social, but it's not. This situation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 participants here talking about money, and you share that, I guarantee you it will at least double next time. I just think that social media is just not the platform for it.
Well, I'll say this. I'll just want to interject this. Is that we've had more people on these type of scenarios too, like 30 people or even 40 people in the past. So it's not always like a very small intermediate group. I see what you're saying 100%. And I think it goes back to what I shared with you guys, Alainta and Lovely, about what that guy posted about the third space, that it used to exist within the society at large, where people would just go in that one location and they hang out. It used to be like a coffee shop. It used to be a bar. It used to be where everybody just naturally just went to. And at some point you run into other people and you create that, what you call a true community. Or even way in the past, it was the church, where you just show up next to the church, you stayed at the church, that was the space. And all the way to this point where it became like the mall. At some point in the 90s, the mall is where you want to just show up. Why did you show up to the mall? I don't remember exactly why. It was just someplace I had to go. Like I had to go on Saturday, on a Sunday, on a Friday night. And it became the third place. But now in this day and age, there is no third place that is not conducive of you just spending money. So even some of the smaller coffee shops are like, hey, at some point you're gonna have to buy or you ain't getting free Wi-Fi. So you just can't show up and just stay there for a while. To your point, I think social media is in that space. You're right. But I also believe that something that you hinted at is that Black people do not have the same cultural priorities that align with building wealth as a group. So when you talk about the Asians, when they get together and they having kimchi, or even like when they're doing like, I forget what it is, but a hibachi grill, where everybody's around for a very long time, having a long conversation, this is where you form community. Or the Hispanic people, especially in Florida, at any given time, even like at any different weekend, there's always a party down the street. Why? Because the families get together for whatever reason. Somebody had a birthday, somebody had a congratulations. It's just an excuse to get together. And because they have an excuse to get together, they buy homes. Because they buy homes, they build wealth. And this is why in the last 40 years, you saw an increase in Hispanic wealth, because unlike Black people that are decreasing home ownership, you see Hispanics coming into the space, Hispanic immigrants coming into the space, buying up homes, because part of their social values are prioritized with owning a home so you can have things to do as a family. Black people, well, what do we have anymore? We have hip hop, we have more hip hop, and that's it. Like that's it. We got the drum, we got the shade room, we got brunches, shade brunches. Yeah, like always got to get.
Okay, but we have. Okay, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say I just really dislike comparing, our group, Black communities. I really hate it because, in terms of Hispanics and Asian cultures and such, because it's so apple to oranges, unfortunately, because we have so many problems in our community alone that the sense of community is so far reach from what we internally have in our community in terms of trauma, in terms of a lot of not only physical trauma, but, sexual trauma, money issues, a lot of communication barriers that we don't talk about, health issues we don't talk about, even the whole parental thing, because there's so many Black women are single mothers or they're grow up in, single family homes. So it's a lot of issues that we do have that we are not targeting. And I think it's one part of it is money, of course, to kind of control your finances. But the other part too is that we have to show a little bit more compassion against each other. And I think a lot of times too, when it comes to social media and these platforms, I think Black people just culturally, we flock to things that are entertaining. We flock to things that, make us happy. It's a mood, it's a vibe. And we we enjoy those things because it's like a perception, almost like a smoking mirror of what the real issues that's going on with our lives. Aside from being Black, aside from being a woman, a man, Black men in America, there's so many issues, right? But so I don't take it for like this grain of salt to say that this is what we should count as an important matter. This is what, there's a lot of things we should count as important matters that we should discuss, but it's all in the matter of cultivating the environment that you want and actually servicing people, and whoever want to receive those services and help, they will come to you. I think that's where I like to kind of just leave it at that too, because personally, I have done it, and it's just one of those things. Is someone not ready? They're really genuinely not ready to grab on information, because once you go through this a real financial journey, you can always know it's not about money. There's a lot of deep-rooted issues that come up. So I don't like to compare our community with others, because it's some things that we still haven't addressed outside of money.
On top of that, two quick things. First, I think sometimes we look at the negative and we don't explore the positive things that our community has had in the past and still has to some extent. So, for example, I know a lot of Caribbeans or in the Jamaican communities, they had partners, right? Where they would, like, those money groups that they would use to save and spend money. And that was a group of people coming together, doing a partner or susu or whatever you call it, to build wealth. And a lot of people in the US would come, have these immigrant communities, and they built wealth that way. But then people were telling them, oh, you shouldn't trust other people. Like, it was a great way to have trust networks. It was a way to keep the networks together. So these aren't things, some of the things that these other groups are doing are not things that Black people never did. And sometimes I know my stepmother, she still does it because she feels like it helps her save money and it helps her keep her tight-knit, close community. So it's not like we've never done those things. And second of all, on the point of trust, I think that financial trust is something that we're still trying to build in our community. And so I see people looking for that in other ways. For example, I follow two people. So one, Sign Blake, I love her. I'm always following her. She was a foster kid, and she actually just bought her first house in Chicago. And so everyone along the way of her having an apartment, et cetera, everyone's always asking her, how do you spend your money? How are you able to afford these things? How are you able to do this? So she actually had tax people on. She's actually had a number of virtual sessions about how she spends her money, because people saw her do it. And now they're like, how do you do that? How do you manage your credit cards? How do you do everything? So I see people looking for advice and information, but sometimes it's built around other women who look like them, who they trust, who they see them doing something they want to do. And they're like, okay, I can put my trust in that person. And I see people do that with a number of influencers who have the type of life, not only look like them, but have the type of life that they want. And they're like, okay, show me how do you do your investments? How do you do these things? So I see people looking for it, but sometimes it's in haphazard ways. So we know that it's out there, but because it's maybe more dispersed than compared to other groups, we think it's not happening, but it is.
It's a difference between the knowledge and actual lifestyle. Influencers sell lifestyles. I don't think they actually sell the knowledge of how do you invest, how do you choose, how can you differentiate what's a better brokerage account for you? Do you know how to budget? Do you know what's a budget? Right? Yeah. So these are different things. I don't think and I agree with Paul too. I think in some aspect, a lot of this information is just not palatable to people, and you do have to water it down for people. But in order to, I guess, grab people and to influence them, or some level of influence, is to show, I have a IG real house, everything, the aesthetics of it. Because if I post myself just chilling, just drinking coffee, maybe not. But if I post myself with the Apple MacBook and my hair is laid and my edges and all this other stuff, it looks more palatable to people. Unfortunately, with Black women, and I see this more often than not, is saying that, hey, I am you. You want to be me. This is how you be me and look like me. This package deal, but no one knows the knowledge of how to go about things, right? So I get what you're saying, but I think it's really people are just selling a lifestyle, and a lot of times that lifestyle will make them
these
broke.
people who I'm talking about, they are influencers. Like Sign Blake, she was influencer for fashion. And like I said, I think because she was a foster student who ended up going to Spelman, who ended up doing this, but she also had a community of trust. Like she responds to every comment. She doesn't sell disinformation. You know, she doesn't sell many things. So there's small pockets. And I think I get what you're saying. And there are those IG people. I personally don't follow them, but I am someone who follows people who have like that strong trust network. And they have people who like, no, I trust you. So listen, I know that she sells, but I'm saying she's not making funnels of, you know, products. Like she's selling, you know, she's getting advertising and all that stuff. So I just do think that there's something that I see with people who have insane amounts of trust, that especially Black women will be like, okay, I trust you enough to ask you these questions. But I don't follow a broad scheme of people to be able to compare. And then I also think I have a lot of friends who are a lot better at budgeting than I am, and they don't look on social media for it. Like they wouldn't ask it on social media. I think, yeah, I don't see them doing that. So sometimes I don't know. I think it's just a lot of different things at one time.
Especially when it comes to Black people, it's a lot of different things.
Yeah, like none of them are following. I follow people, but they'll just like go off and do their finances like by themselves. Or I like look at a lot of YNAB. Like I look at their videos all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, YouTube.
Well, tax us up, Lawrence. Teach us something.
Yeah, just in case anybody didn't know what the YNAB was, and I forgot that T in there because I'm English is my third language, so you need a budget, and they actually charge for their services. That's the only thing I don't really like about YNAB is, well, I don't necessarily hate them for it. It's just basically for me, I like free stuff. Got the mint.com is free, personal capital is free, and it's generally the same thing, but their platform is based on, hey, you come in here and we're gonna stratify how your expenses are, and you could tell you where the gaps are. So it's kind of trying to help you move about how your money works. But ultimately, anything that charges people that are already broke was never going to be something that's cool with me. And almost like an emotional, I don't know, physical, well, not the psychological, but I guess
I get what you're saying.
On the philosophical level, yeah, it's like I've never been one to sell. That's why you've never seen me on social media like sell.
Yeah, I mean, they have a product, like it's an app. Yeah. I've also done Excel. I've made my own Excels. I think they have a good product, and I've known them since their stuff was a lot cheaper. I think if you make a good product, you have a whole business where you have an app, and apps cost money. Like every app has to eventually charge people. So I get what you're saying. I think the information is free. Like they have free YouTube where you can learn how to do a budget. But the app, if you want the app, they charge a yearly subscription, which I feel is fine. But I get what you're saying.
I've always been, and the other ladies know that for me as a personal level, I grew up very poor. So the idea of charging anybody that's poor more money that they don't have is always a little bit odd to me on a one-to-one level. So I don't mind what they're doing because they're going to do what they do. But I also kind of ask the question, even at FinCon, like, when is enough? When is enough money enough for some people? So for me, I'm gonna be rich no matter what. I don't need to be a trillionaire to feel good about myself, to kind of like make it. I don't need to have multiple billions or, living in the, yachting around and kind of wearing all white, to do all this stuff. It's never been part of my personal, I just don't do it. Like, it's just not me.
Wait, would you make a product that would cost you money in order to see, does anything you're doing right now cost you money?
Yeah, everything I do is costing me money. There is no real gain as far as financial literacy wise. No, I make my real money 9 to 5, baseline 9 to 5. So like 99% of my dollars 9 to 5.
Are you even in what you're producing? Like, would you produce something that maybe costs you, $200K to make to benefit other people?
I would produce that, but then at some point when I retire, I really am truly retiring, which means I'm not banking off of this money anymore. If I'm here for the people, I'm always here for people. There's no like, I don't need the extra dollars to validate me. I really would love Black people get to a point of financial stability, like baseline. That's what I want to see. Like after what they do with the money afterwards, it's not my business. Right. I don't care. But as far as what I do for people is, I've always been that kind of person as, hey, I'm gonna help you, period. And there's no dollar value to me helping you.
But I'm saying, would you do something that costs? Like, Paul, you said you're doing an app right now, right? And app development. I don't know if you're developing your app on your own.
Paul will sell himself off. Let's go, Paul.
Yeah, like if that app starts costing you like 500, like let's say $500,000 a year to maintain, would you start? But you feel that it's a benefit to people. Would you keep that app free?
That's a good question. I think
that's the issue. It's not the free information. It's the actual like cost.
It's the cost, and I understand that. And I just shortly, I'll say no. You ever see like Batman? Anybody watch Batman? Like a fan of Batman? Like Batman is my favorite superhero because I feel as if like, you know, towards the end of his life, he starts to get darker. He starts killing people. Like he's like, I can't keep arresting you and you keep getting out. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think part of it is, and I'm trying not to be dark, but like, there's a lot of things that I've seen that it's just like, guys, like at some point too, right? And I know we're talking about Black people and the suffering of, you know, the traumas of Black women and Black men and all this stuff. But at some point too, you know, there's a level of you need to fight. You know what I'm saying? For yourself. And I think that's kind of it too. I was talking about, like, I grew up poor too. And I was thinking about it. It's like, we used to buy milk and cereal at the convenience store, and it's more expensive than at Walmart. The poor have to pay more for everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the cost of being poor. And then you understand that, you start to realize, okay, well, the cost of being poor is too expensive. And I need to fight my way to become not poor anymore. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like as if I'm quiet in it because I feel like I'm in a crossroads in between of like, I agree that like, we want to save our people and we want to do all this stuff and we want to do this and that, but you can't save your people if you're not first okay. And then even within saving them, they have to pay because you're pas jamais comprendre valeur. Sou pas faire payer. Vous comprenez? Ça veut dire faut que les couteaux, même j'ai le couteau pour arriver couteau hier, pour comprendre valeur, he has to, bro.
Oh, Paul, parler Creole. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying, like,
I love it, Ashley. I love it. You so good.
Hey, man, with the Creole.
Jamaican.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you understand.
She understands.
I was just saying that you have to. People have to feel stuff to understand the value of it, man. Like I was telling, like, you know, I have like my properties and like, you know, I'll give somebody like a homie, like, okay, I'm gonna give you this good rate on this room. I'm not gonna tax you how I should tax you. I'm gonna look out.
Mm.
But because you don't understand how much anything costs, right? Even in me doing it for you, you don't even understand what I did for you.
Yeah.
You still think I'm taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
Because you never owned.
Yeah. So you don't know. Oh
so
my God.
As I'm sitting here talking to you about all this quick, my beard's going gray. What about my kids? No, nigga, like at some point, it's like, dude, listen, you know, at some point it's this. I will be a vessel here to help. And it's taught me, man, like I used to always complain about like, why are the wealthy teaching? Why are the wealthy? You could be trying to teach one, either they won't listen to you, or when you tell them the truth, they will hate you and try to kill you for it. So it's like, I believe in exactly, you know, what you guys are doing right now. You create a small space, you know what I'm saying, for those who do want to get on the ship. But yo, if you've been building this arc and you've been telling niggas that you've been building this arc and you spent the labor in investing in this product, you spent the upfront capital in investing in product, time investing in this product, right? You deserve to get paid, bro. like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I can say is like, you deserve, like, if I made a product that was free, it's because I'm making money some other way. Advertising, it'll be a freemium model.
I think that's where it's at, where you just said it right there. If I'm giving something for free, I'm making my money some other way. Yeah. This is why
nothing is free.
It. Yeah, it adjacent to it though. I preceded what I just did.
I preceded that statement saying that my 9 to 5, me and my wife's 9 to 5 covers us. Like this extra stuff is just me, it's like a hobby. Think of it like it's just an extra thing that I do. So it's not something I would willingly charge extra people for. If anything, I won't necessarily do it direct. I'll probably even do like, go get which we talked about in the podcast. I'm going to go get my certification and just go become a government contractor and working for the government directly. I don't need to charge poor people on a one-on-one level. I get paid way more elsewhere. I'd rather get paid way more elsewhere and they still provide the free stuff for the people. If that makes sense.
I respect that too. My parents are missionaries, and I think what I'll just say into that one, I think that when you impact people's life in a certain way, you know, it's more than money. And I think once you solve the money problem, the initial money problem of like, I'm good, then it opens the possibilities of other stuff, of other value exchange, right? Like knowing that you've impacted other people's lives is, you know.
And that's where we start. It's like, this is, hey guys, one of these challenges that we had was basically, if you get me to $5 grand following, I'm going to do a tax planning one. And I think there's a few other ones that are out there as well. I couldn't find it, so I could do a Canva and put it on this thing. But ultimately, that if you get the more reviews on the Financial Griot podcast on Apple, whatever it is, we'll do another one and another one and another one. We don't mind sharing wealth with people. We really don't. But to your point, Paul, the cost of payment is those follows. The cost of payment, I want to see the buy-in from the people. So the buy-in is getting the likes, the buy-in is getting the reviews, the buy-in is for them to kind of get engaged and also show up to these workshops because they're free. Because it was not too long ago this year that I did a workshop. I did a few workshops this year for different companies. And one company that actually sponsors like the Miami Heat, they pay me, I want to say it was like $3,500, like for maybe 45 minutes of my time. It was just insane. It's like the same stuff I do right now. This is the thing I think they just pay me $3,500. No questions asked. We keep it moving. Like Nordstrom is another problem because it maybe you want to blur it out, but those bastards still owe me $500. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm still a little bit mad, a little bit salty about it, but might want to blur out the names so they don't hate me in the long run. But ultimately, like, we love to do these kind of presentations because it's going to be something that's valuable to you, the user, or anybody that's your friends, or even if they're not here, if you understand it, you could share it back to somebody else. That's all that matters. Like, in the end of the day, I'm going to be rich. Atlanta's going to be rich. Ashley's going to be rich. Paul's going to be rich. Lovey's going to be rich. But we're trying to reach out other people to let them know how they can actually make better choices with their money and actually move about their money a better way.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Griot podcast, powered by the Wealth Builders Collective.